The mask of inferiority. Ambassador Rehan Patel kept her face carefully neutral as the towering Zishian delegate loomed over her, its crystalline body fragments refracting light in patterns of undisguised contempt. The great assembly chamber of the Galactic Consortium stretched above them, its ancient architecture designed to make lesser species feel small. Today, that seemed to be working exactly as intended. Your species still relies on silicon-based computing, the Zishian's thoughts resonated directly into her mind. Your fastest quantum processors would struggle to calculate a child's arithmetic among my people. We are aware of our technological limitations, Rehan replied, her voice steady despite the growing pressure behind her temples from the psychic communication. Earth seeks only basic trading rights and cultural exchange opportunities. The assembled delegates of the consortium's inner circle, 15 of the most advanced species in the known galaxy, shifted in their environmental chambers. Some leaked atmosphere that translated to laughter in their respective biologies. The massive chamber, with its swirling nebula ceiling and gravity-defying architecture, suddenly felt suffocating. Beside her, Earth's chief scientist Dr. Raj Varma maintained his grandfatherly smile, his dark eyes twinkling with what appeared to be embarrassment but was actually carefully controlled amusement. They had rehearsed this performance dozens of times. "Show them the presentation again," he whispered, just loud enough for the consortium's translation fields to catch and broadcast. The holographic display materialized between them, showing Earth's most advanced achievements, carefully curated to appear impressive to primitive species but laughably basic to the consortium members. Solar power arrays, fusion reactors, basic space elevators, technology that the inner circle had mastered millennia ago. "Perhaps in another century, you might be ready for provisional membership," declared High Speaker Oren, the gas-based entity who led the consortium. Its swirling form pulsed with colors that the human eye couldn't fully process. "For now, we grant Earth observer status only. You may access our public historical archives and establish a single embassy on consortium space. Nothing more. We are grateful for the consortium's generosity," Rehan bowed, letting a slight tremor enter her voice. "Earth will strive to prove worthy of your trust." As they left the chamber, followed by barely concealed snickers and dismissive psychic projections, Dr. Varma patted her shoulder. They maintained their dejected posture until they reached their ship, an intentionally outdated model that leaked drive plasma and broadcast its position like a teenager's first subspace radio. Only when they were in the secure briefing room, protected by technologies that the consortium couldn't even detect, did Rehan allow herself to smile. "Mission accomplished," she said, activating the quantum entanglement communicator, a device that Earth had developed decades ago but kept hidden from galactic society. They bought it completely. The holographic form of Director Kai Wong materialized, his weathered face creased with satisfaction. "Excellent work, both of you. The Titan array picked up their scans during your presentation. They didn't detect any of our quantum shielding or the parallel space generators. As far as they're concerned, Earth is exactly what we want them to think we are, barely able to achieve stable fusion." The Zishian delegate was particularly condescending, Dr. Varma chuckled. "If he only knew that we cracked crystalline computing 30 years ago. Their entire technological base is 3 generations behind what we're currently testing in the Kuiper Belt facilities." Speaking of testing, Director Wong's expression grew serious. "Project Prometheus is ahead of schedule. The first wave of ships will be ready within 2 months. The consortium's arrogance has given us the perfect cover. None of their sensor networks are calibrated to detect quantum-fold technology because they don't believe it's possible." Rehan studied the classified reports scrolling across her secure tablet. "The Drachnid Empire is getting aggressive along the Orion Arm. They've already conquered 3 consortium worlds, and the response has been exactly what we predicted: committee meetings and strongly worded diplomatic protests. The consortium is about to learn a harsh lesson about underestimating primitive species," Director Wong said. "Humanity didn't survive centuries of warfare and environmental catastrophe by being stupid. We learned to hide our strength, to let potential enemies underestimate us. When the Drachnits push too far, Earth will be ready. And the galaxy will never mock us again, Rihan added softly, watching the glittering expanse of Consortium Center through their ship's quantum-shielded viewport. Soon, very soon, that mockery would turn to fear. And then, perhaps, to respect. But for now, they would play their roles. The primitive humans, stumbling into galactic society, hoping for scraps from the technological giant's table. It was a performance worthy of humanity's greatest actors, and the galaxy was their willing audience. Little did they know they were watching a carefully crafted illusion, one that would shatter spectacularly when the time was right. And that time was coming very, very soon. Hidden in the dark. Deep beneath Europa's ice sheets, Chief Engineer Yuki Tanaka stood before a wall of quantum displays, her eyes scanning streams of data that would have baffled the consortium's most advanced AI systems. The secret facility, designated Prometheus Forge, hummed with activity that no alien sensor could detect. Quantum full drive is stabilizing at 99.8% efficiency, she announced, her voice carrying across the vast underground chamber. We've achieved full-dimensional anchoring. The object of her attention hung suspended in the massive construction bay, the TSS Nemesis, humanity's first quantum dreadnought. At 4 kilometers long, its hull was composed of materials that technically shouldn't exist according to known physics. The ship's outer surface seemed to drink in light, its quantum-shifted atomic structure making it appear as nothing more than a void in space. Director Wong is on approach, the facility's AI announced. Quantum Corridor 7. Minutes later, Director Wong emerged from one of the facility's matter transfer tubes, accompanied by Ambassador Patel and Dr. Varma. Their expressions shifted from diplomatic fatigue to fierce pride as they took in the sight of humanity's greatest achievement. The Drachnits hit another consortium world yesterday, Wong announced without preamble. The mighty consortium fleet arrived 6 hours after the planet was stripped bare. Another strongly worded condemnation is being drafted. How many dead? Yuki asked, her hands tightening on the control panel. 3 million. The consortium's response? They've scheduled an emergency committee meeting for next month. Wong's voice dripped with contempt. Their bureaucracy is worse than their arrogance. Dr. Varma stepped forward, studying the Nemesis's quantum signature readings. The ship's ready, isn't it? Yuki nodded slowly. We completed the final calibrations this morning. The quantum full drive can cross the galaxy in hours. Our weapons. She paused, bringing up a classified test recording. Well, see for yourself. The display showed a test firing in the Kuiper belt. A single quantum lance from a weapon a tenth the size of the Nemesis's main armament had literally folded space around its target, causing a small moon to collapse into a dimensional pocket the size of a marble. The Drachnid's most advanced shields might as well be tissue paper, Yuki explained. We could end their entire empire in a day if we wanted to. That's not our way, Ambassador Patel reminded them. We're not conquerors. We're not even really warriors. We're the teachers of a very important lesson. Speaking of lessons, Wong activated another display, showing the latest intelligence from Consortium space. The Drachnits have issued their first demand to Earth. They want protection fees, basically tribute in the form of resources and territory. Their ambassador will arrive at Luna Station tomorrow to deliver the ultimatum personally. Yuki's dark eyes gleamed. Perfect timing. The Nemesis's sister ships will be ready within the week. The entire First Fleet dash. A priority alert cut through their conversation. The quantum AI's voice carried an unusual edge of excitement. Director, the Drachnid ambassador's ship just quantum jumped into the Sol system. They're 12 hours ahead of schedule. Wong's smile was razor-sharp. They're trying to catch us off guard. Intimidate the primitive humans with their advanced technology. He turned to Ambassador Patel. Ready for one last performance? My final role as the frightened representative of a backward species? She straightened her diplomatic uniform. "I've been preparing for this moment for years." Yuki, Wong turned to the engineer. "Begin final launch preparations for the Nemesis. When the Drachnids make their threats, when they try to bully what they think is another helpless world." His voice hardened. "We're going to teach them, and the entire galaxy, why humanity spent so long hiding its strength." As the others headed for the quantum transport tubes, Yuki turned back to her displays. Status reports flowed in from similar facilities hidden throughout the solar system. Humanity's hidden fleet was stirring to life, ships that could rewrite the laws of physics preparing to reveal themselves to an unsuspecting galaxy. "Begin pre-launch sequence," she commanded. The quantum AI responded instantly, and the massive chamber filled with the subtle vibration of power that could reshape reality itself. Above her, the Nemesis's void-black hull seemed to pulse with anticipation. The galaxy had mocked humanity's apparent primitive nature for too long. They had mistaken patience for weakness, preparation for incompetence. That mistake was about to cost them dearly. Very soon, no one would dare mock Earth again. First blood. The Drachnid ambassador's vessel hung above Luna Station like a bristling thundercloud. Its hull, covered in weapon ports and energy projectors, cast an intentional shadow over Earth's primitive diplomatic facility. The message was clear: submit or be destroyed. Ambassador Patel sat alone at the conference table, maintaining her carefully crafted mask of anxiety as Supreme Commander Zaxthar of the Drachnid Empire towered over her. His scaled form rippled with barely contained aggression, cybernetic implants pulsing with power that was meant to intimidate. "The terms are simple, human," Zaxthar's translator unit converted his guttural speech. "Your species will provide us with 10% of your system's resources and allow us to establish military bases on Mars and your moon. In exchange, we will protect you from the dangers of space." "And if we refuse?" Patel asked, letting her voice quaver slightly. Zaxthar's facial scales shifted in what passed for a smile among his kind. "Then we will take 30% and establish bases wherever we wish. Your pathetic defenses cannot stop us. The consortium won't help you, they've already proven that. You have one planetary rotation to decide." As the ambassador walked out, flanked by his heavily armed guards, Patel activated her quantum comm implant, technology that the Drachnids would have dismissed as impossible for primitive humans to create. "Did you get all that, Director?" Every word, Wong's voice resonated in her mind. "The Nemesis is in position. They didn't detect our quantum fold jump. As far as their sensors show, there's nothing but empty space behind their flagship. Their arrogance is almost sad," Patel mused. "They didn't even bother doing detailed scans of our system. They assume our defensive capabilities are what we've shown the galaxy. That assumption ends today. The Drachnid fleet just quantum jumped in at the edge of the system. 30 warships, including 3 planet killers. They're not even trying to hide their intentions." Patel stood, walking to the viewport. The Drachnid ambassador's ship was powering up its weapons, another intimidation tactic. "Shall we show them what humanity has been hiding all these years?" "Execute Operation Revelation," Wong commanded. Throughout the solar system, hidden quantum generators activated. Reality itself seemed to shiver as humanity's true defensive grid revealed itself. Thousands of satellites, invisible until this moment, emerged from quantum shift. Meanwhile, the Nemesis decloaked directly behind the Drachnid ambassador's vessel. On the Drachnid ship's bridge, alarms screamed as their sensors suddenly detected the massive human vessel. Zaxthar spun toward his tactical display, his scales paling at what he saw. "Impossible," he hissed. "Their technology, they couldn't." "This is Director Kai Wong of Earth Defense Command," a transmission cut through their communications. "Your species has threatened our world. You have demonstrated your intention to conquer and exploit those you consider weak. This ends now. You dare." Zaxthar snarled. "Our fleet will reduce your cities to ash. Your fleet, Wong's voice was cold, is about to learn the cost of underestimating humanity. The Nemesis fired a single quantum lance. Space itself bent around the Drachnid ambassador's ship. There was no explosion, no debris, the vessel simply ceased to exist, folded into a pocket dimension smaller than an atom. Across the system, the approaching Drachnid fleet registered their leader's destruction. They accelerated to attack speed, weapons charging, only to find themselves surrounded as the rest of humanity's hidden fleet quantum shifted into view. "This is your only warning," Wong announced on all frequencies, broadcasting to not just the Drachnid fleet but to listening consortium sensors as well. "Leave our space. Never return. What you just witnessed was our most basic defensive capability. Test us further, and we will demonstrate why humanity spent so long hiding its true nature." The Drachnid fleet hung in space for long moments. Then, one by one, they engaged their drives and fled, their mighty warships running from the species they had tried to subjugate mere minutes before. In Luna Station, Ambassador Patel allowed herself a genuine smile as she opened a channel to the consortium's Grand Assembly. "Honored delegates," she said, her voice now carrying none of its former subservience. "Earth requests an emergency session to discuss the reformation of certain consortium policies. I believe you'll find we have much to contribute to galactic society, now that we no longer need to hide." The age of humanity's mask had ended. The galaxy would never be the same. Galaxy in shock. The Grand Assembly chamber had never been so silent. Gone was the psychic chatter, the subtle hums of superiority, the crystalline whispers of contempt. Every delegate, from the gaseous Orin to the crystalline Zexians, focused intently on the quantum display showing the complete annihilation of the Drachnid ambassador's ship. As you can see, Ambassador Patel stood calmly at the center of the chamber, no longer playing the role of an intimidated primitive. "Humanity has developed technologies that your sciences considered impossible. We kept this hidden for a simple reason: your treatment of lesser species showed us exactly what kind of neighbors you would be. This is a deception." The Zetian delegate's crystalline form pulsed with agitation. No species could advance so quickly without detection. Quickly. Dr. Varma stepped forward, his grandfatherly demeanor replaced by the sharp intelligence that had helped guide Earth's technological revolution. "We achieved quantum-fold technology 30 years ago. We mastered dimensional engineering while you were still debating whether to grant us observer status. Your arrogance blinded you to our progress." The quantum display shifted, showing real-time feeds from across the galaxy. Drachnid warships were retreating from dozens of conquered worlds, their mighty empire crumbling in the face of humanity's revealed strength. But more importantly, the feeds showed hundreds of supposedly primitive species rising up, revealing technologies and capabilities they too had hidden from the consortium's dismissive gaze. "You're not the only ones who learned to wear a mask," Patel explained. "While you mocked us, we made allies among those you dismissed. The Rithri, who you called simple agrarians. They've mastered biological engineering beyond your comprehension. The Nexus Collective, those primitive energy beings. They've been experimenting with consciousness transfer technology for decades." High Speaker Orin's gaseous form swirled with distress. "You've destabilized the entire galactic order." "No," Patel's voice hardened. "We're correcting it. The consortium's hierarchy of technological achievement created a system of oppression and stagnation. Species with different paths of development were forced to hide their advances or face exploitation." Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the chamber. The quantum display showed a massive Drachnid fleet, their entire remaining armada, emerging from quantum space near Consortium Center. "It seems the Drachnids would rather fight than accept change," Dr. Varma observed calmly. The Consortium delegates erupted in panic. Their defensive fleet was scattered, responding to crises across a dozen worlds. Consortium Center, the heart of their civilization, lay virtually defenseless before the largest hostile fleet assembled in centuries. "Earth offers its assistance," Patel announced. "Not as supplicants, but as equals. Accept that the old order is ending, and we can protect you. Continue to cling to your assumed superiority, and we'll watch what happens. For a moment, pride warred with survival in the assembly chamber. Then High Speaker Orin's form shifted to the color of acceptance. The consortium requests Earth's aid. Patel nodded once and activated her quantum comm. Director Wong, you have permission to proceed. Space twisted around consortium center as humanity's quantum fleet emerged from dimensional shift. The Nemesis led the formation, its void black hole drinking in starlight. Behind it came ships of a dozen primitive species, all revealing their true technological might. The Drachnid fleet, faced with this united force of formerly dismissed species, didn't even attempt to fight. Their ship's quantum jumped away, fleeing to the edges of known space. Now, Patel addressed the stunned assembly, let's discuss the future. A future where advancement is measured not by who has the most impressive technology, but by how that technology is used. Where cooperation replaces condescension, and where every species' path of development is respected. She paused, looking each delegate in the eye. The age of mockery is over. The age of true unity begins today. The question is, will you be part of it, or will you be left behind in the old order you created? The chamber erupted in discussion, but now the tone was different. Fear and arrogance had been replaced by cautious respect and, in some cases, genuine curiosity. The galaxy was changing, and humanity had struck the spark that ignited that change. Above them, the quantum fleet held position, a reminder that the time for underestimating primitive species had passed. The future would belong to those who could adapt to this new reality, a reality where humanity's mask of inferiority had been replaced by the truth of their power. And this was only the beginning. New Order. 1 year after humanity's revelation, the galactic landscape had transformed beyond recognition. The Great Assembly Chamber, once a monument to technological hierarchy, now hosted representatives from all spacefaring species, regardless of their development path. Director Wong stood at the newly installed quantum conference table, watching delegates from 100 worlds discuss the formation of the United Galactic Alliance. The old consortium's rigid power structure had been replaced by a system that valued innovation in all its forms. The Rithari bioships have successfully terraformed another Drachnid-devastated world, reported Representative Jean of the Restoration Committee. Her holographic form shimmered with the advanced projection technology that her people had hidden for generations. Their environmental recovery rate exceeds all previous methods. And the quantum defense grid, Asta crystallization, their tone now respectful rather than condescending. Operational across 60% of Allied space, Wong confirmed. The combined technologies of our various species have created defenses that would have been impossible under the old system of isolation and secrecy. The chamber's quantum displays showed scenes from across the galaxy. Former, primitive worlds revealed magnificent cities that had been hidden beneath holographic deserts. Species that had been dismissed as simple warriors demonstrated philosophical and artistic achievements that humbled their former mockers. Ambassador Patel, now serving as Earth's representative to the Alliance Council, activated a secure quantum channel. Latest intelligence confirms the Drachnids have retreated beyond the galactic rim. Their empire has fractured into competing factions, each trying to adapt to the new reality we created. Not just we, Wong corrected. Every species that had to hide their true nature, every civilization that developed along paths the consortium couldn't understand, they all helped create this change. The quantum display shifted to show the Nemesis, now serving as a training vessel where species shared their technological innovations openly. Beside it, ships of designs that would have been impossible a year ago demonstrated the power of combined technological approaches. There are still challenges, Patel acknowledged. Some former consortium powers resist the new order. They've formed their own coalition, clinging to the old hierarchies. Let them, Wong said firmly. Their isolation is their choice. The galaxy has moved beyond the need for artificial hierarchies and hidden strengths. The assembly chamber filled with representatives of the next session. Former oppressors sat beside former victims, all equal in the new order. Species that had been enemies now collaborated on projects that benefited all. Humanity's greatest achievement wasn't our technology, Patel observed, watching the delegates interact. It was showing the galaxy a better way. By hiding our advancement, we exposed the flaws in the old system. By revealing our strength, we created an opportunity for genuine unity. Unity born of respect, Wang added, not fear or domination. A young Zishian delegate approached them, their crystalline form glowing with colors that indicated sincere admiration. My people's histories have been rewritten, they said. We now teach our youth about the danger of assumption and the value of looking beyond surface appearances. Above them, through the chamber's transparent ceiling, ships of 1,000 designs moved in harmony. Each represented a different path of development, a unique approach to understanding the universe. The old consortium would have ranked and categorized them. The new alliance celebrated their diversity. The galaxy learned an important lesson, Patel said softly. Never judge a species by what they show you. The most powerful civilizations might be the ones wise enough to hide their strength until it truly matters. Wang nodded, watching as another group of formerly primitive species revealed revolutionary technological innovations to their peers. And the most advanced society isn't the one with the most impressive technology, he added. It's the one that knows how to use its power wisely. The quantum displays showed the spread of the alliance's influence, peaceful cooperation replacing conquest, mutual respect replacing mockery, true advancement replacing stagnant superiority. Humanity had sparked this change, but every species that had hidden their true nature had helped forge the new reality. The age of masks had ended. The age of genuine unity had begun. And the galaxy was finally becoming what it always should have been, a place where every path of development was respected, where no species needed to hide their achievements, and where the future belonged to those who could work together rather than those who simply claimed superiority. The stars themselves seemed brighter somehow, as if celebrating the dawn of this new era. An era born from humanity's patient deception and revealed in a moment of necessary truth. The galaxy would never return to what it had been. And that was exactly as it should be.